Listen to this track, bitch. Hey, hey.
And here we go.
All right, what is up, man? I'm a little ashamed to say this, but better late than never. I did a video. This was Jay Parks on it. That was like a year ago. And he spit some lines in there, right? So in the lines, he says, I do this for my people so they can eat too, Korean and English. I talk money, so I'm trilingual. And yes, I know that I am the chosen, even though I don't speak Hebrew, right? And then he kind of goes on in it.
I do this for my people so they can eat too, Korean, English, and I talk money, so I'm trilingual. And yes, I know that I am chosen, though I don't speak Hebrew.
Then he goes on to say, what I have common with Martin Luther is that I'm a king too, right? So when I first heard this during that time, I was investigating some things about black people, or what is known as black people in the United States. So his bar is about he's chosen, but he doesn't speak Hebrew. Hebrew being the chosen people. Then he cuts over to what I have in common with Martin Luther is that I'm a king too. So I kind of took it. There's a few ways to take these bars, and I will go ahead and break down the few ways to take them, right? Because my comments was like the Hebrew Martin Luther King line. I equated it to something else and said not a lot of black people know about that. And someone asked me to explain it, so I'm going to explain what I thought it was. But I'm going to go through what these bars could mean. So he knows that he's chosen, but he don't speak Hebrew. So he's talking about God's chosen people, as how when the Israelites, Hebrew people, were God's chosen people. So that's kind of like a play on words, throwing that in. And then it says, what I have in common with Martin Luther is that I'm a king too. So there's another play on words. You have a play on words with Martin Luther, but you have Martin Luther and Martin Luther King. You have Martin Luther, he's the one who's kind of known for the Luciferian doctrine. You know, you have the Lutherans, someone who kind of rewrote the transcripts, which kind of equated to what we have known as the Holy Bible. And then he put in there that I am a king too, which could be a play on words because Kings, 1st and 2nd Kings, is also in the Bible. But he's saying what I have in common with Martin Luther is that I'm a king too. So he could be talking about Martin Luther King, which is, you know, we all know who Martin Luther King is. There's no point in me explaining that. Now, what I took it as is that I'm chosen, but I don't speak Hebrew. And what I have in common with Martin Luther is I'm a king too. There has been much talk about black people. You know, some of us, not all of us, because that's a totally different conversation and totally different subject matter that I do not want to get into because it's very complicated. But some white people are from Israel. Okay? As in they fled Israel and into Africa, and then African people sold them out and they came over here as slaves. Okay? That is something that I was investigating myself because I've been learning that not every single black person is a product of the slave trade. Okay? And that's just truth. That's just not every single black person here is a product of the slave trade. So some of us have ancestors that were never slaves. And some that do, which I do. My ancestry, I follow my ancestry back, and I have slave ancestry. So that is what I was equating those bars to, as in Martin Luther King being a black man, and some black people came from out of Israel. They said come out of Israel and went into Africa, settled, and then was sold into slavery because they're not from Africa. They're from the Middle East and Israel. So that is what I was equating those bars to. was to that. That play on words. I am chosen, even though I don't speak Hebrew. What I have in common with Martin Luther is I'm a king too. Okay? I was equating that Hebrew, chosen people, or Hebrew, and then therefore used Martin Luther as a black man, equating that he is from Israel, and so he is a king too. But there's many different ways you could have taken that, and that is what I wanted to explain on this Jay Parks On It lyric. So I'm going to play a little clip of something that I have to kind of give you an understand of where I was going with that, in case you just can't, like you just don't see it or you don't understand that. And I'm going to play that for you. But that's going to do it for me. I just wanted to do this because it's been on my mind to do it, and I had a young lady ask me, and I said I had to do a video on it because it's kind of complicated to explain, like, you know, in a comment section. So that's why I did it. So anyway, you guys let me know what you thought down below. I try not to spend too much time because it's only gonna get more complicated if I do that. Anyway, I'm gonna play this clip, but of course I'm Nixon.
I do this for my people, so they can eat too. Korean, English, and I talk money, so I'm trilingual. And yes, I know that I am chosen, though I don't speak Hebrew. What I have coming with Martin Luther is that I'm a king too.